It just makes for a relaxing trip down the old Grapeade River.
Just feel your body start to change.
I'm metamorphosizing. I'm floating in a donut, and the river is grape soda.
It tickles my butt.
It tickles my dangly bits. Now we're in Castle High Garden. I feel a waking dream. There's a beautiful flower blooming right before your very eyes.
Is this heaven?
No. It's the cosmic vineyard. How did you find us? Where have you been?
We've been waiting for you.
I'm a PlayStation powering up.
Hey everybody, I'm Dane Holland, and I'm a cartoon now.
I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer, and it's like knocking down walls with flicking boogers.
I'm Marcus, the vampire hunter, known as I'm Electric Man.
I'm Austin Tiny Zent, and I do not sell feet pics.
Although I would like to find out how much you would sell them for after this episode of Nerd It Through the Grapevine, a podcast where four best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. And I want to start with the present because...
I love gifts.
Don't you?
Yeah.
With bows on them and all? And arrows?
Green Arrow.
No, that's not it, but that would have been a really good segue into a topic about Green Arrow.
Yeah.
I want to talk about just the idea of Star Wars visions, because it's really neat for a person who loves anime and also a person who loves Star Wars. And I knew that two of us here love both of those things.
Yes.
And the other two of us here love one of those things.
Yep, one of those things.
One of those things. You love one of those things. Mm-hmm. So I thought it would be an interesting conversation because for those of you who don't know what Star Wars Visions is, they've taken these Elseworlds stories of Star Wars, and these different animation companies are making these very small episodes that have their own style to them and their own unique stories, and they don't tie into the actual Star Wars universe. Like, some of them do, some of them don't. It's a really cool take because it's not a canon thing. It's just fun, and it's just neat to see these like lightsabers in an anime. I mean, we've seen things like them in other animes, but nothing quite like actual Star Wars lightsabers. It's really cool. But the treatment of taking something so loved and amazing as Star Wars is and turning it into an anime is just, it's something I've always wanted, I think. Like, because they've made manga before, and manga is like, it's anime in a book. Like, for those of you who don't know that, but yeah, it's really cool. I don't know if you've all seen something about it?
Nope.
I literally just saw a headline. That's
oh, really?
all.
That was all?
Nope. I planned on watching it just based off of hearing that it existed, and I never wanted to see a thing about it until I sat down and put it into my brain.
Yeah. I was just disappointed by this today, right now.
Tiny, no.
I'm not an anime boy. We all know this.
I'm not really either, but you did tell me something earlier about it that was like, each episode's kind of like a different art style.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a different if it's a different company doing each episode, a different animation company. So like remember the Love, Death and Robots conversation we had some episodes back? Mm-hmm. It's the same concept to where they've taken these small stories. I mean, they're anywhere from like 12 minutes to 22 minutes long, very short. It's just, you can just rapid fire. They've put out I think 9 episodes all out at once right now, at least for the first season of it. But Similar to Love, Death, and Robots, it's just their own little stories.
And so each story could potentially have this vastly different look to it.
Oh, absolutely.
So that makes me more curious than if it was just your traditional kind of anime look.
Well, the first one is it's a samurai style. It's set in Japan, samurai style, and black and white, except for the lightsabers. They're the only thing with color, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really cool. And I was wondering, what's the cool thing, Tiny, you don't care much for anime, and I know, Marcus, you don't care much for it either, but I think it's because you haven't seen something that really struck you anime-wise.
I don't know. It's kind of a hard general statement because there is some animation that I really like.
Right.
And maybe that would be considered anime. I'm not exactly sure on the technicalities of it. But it just all really depends on the art style, I think, for me. I just don't typically like the more kind of childlike looking art.
Right.
I like the kind of more comic booky or Metalocalypse. I really like the look of that. And that's not that far away from
I'm Dr.
sort of
Roxo.
Okay.
Yeah. But now, see, here's my thing, okay?
Put it away, Tiny.
Not that thing.
Oh, okay.
I can't comprehend why in most anime there is so much just screaming. I can't handle it. It hurts me all the way to my core. Well, and then I can't even do animated Star Wars. It's just not my shtick.
Imagine.
I need live action.
So you've seen the art of karate, yes? Where they you yell as you punch to exert the energy the energy into the punch.
I am a master of Fat Kwando.
Exactly. And imagine that, but on a scale that's unimaginable. So it's kind of the similar idea of yelling to get all your energy out into the attack.
How can I imagine it if it's on a scale that's unimaginable?
I knew it was going to say it.
Good luck.
I was going to be the one to say it, but then I saw his brain fire up because he had a little sweat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I one-fingered you.
That's the paradox, though. I want you to jump into that.
You see, I'm not against it or for it because I've seen some anime styles that I absolutely cannot watch. And I've seen some anime styles that I absolutely adore, and I will watch it over again. And some of them are goofy, some of them are serious, some of them will surprise you on how they will be a blend of both. Mm-hmm. If you watch One Punch Man will combine several, one after the other, after the other, after the other, and they are nonstop with their shifting of anime styles within it, and it kind of seemed like a mockery at first of the entire genre of anime, but it ended up being just that's the way he's viewing all of this because he's so powerful. It's all just a big joke.
I was told that the whole show was a mockery on anime because One Punch Man was my first venture into the anime realm, and I watched 2 to 3 episodes.
One Punch Man is an obscure anime.
Well, and what really just made me go, was when he was fighting the guy that's like, I ate too much crab, and now I'm a crab man. And I went, click, done. I'm over this. This is awful.
Heaven forbid you do something silly.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm okay with silly. I'm just I can't handle that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just seems from someone who can imagine a very similar viewing experience that I would have. It's just, I don't know, the tone consistency.
Did you watch the Animatrix?
I did.
See, that was done in different animation styles.
I liked that. Yeah.
And that
really
would be
cool.
something that you would have just automatically been open to just because the idea of the Matrix was always digital based anyway. It can be manipulated and changed and altered. Well, I mean, the idea of Star Wars itself is fantasy, and it doesn't get much more fantasy than what most animes do.
Yeah,
True.
It's
I think I would be hopeful for the potential of it, Right. But I think to me it all boils down to the visual art.
Yeah.
And obviously the storytelling. But
I think they kept everyone in mind also that they know it isn't really a fan of anime. Because it isn't canon stories. If you hate anime but you love Star Wars and you're I hate this idea, you don't watch it and you're not missing out on any of the main story of Star Wars. It's not.
And I'm going to say something controversial.
No.
So nobody be upset by this, but based off of the recent viewings that I've had, I hate Sailor Moon.
Canceled.
Immediate.
That would be the style. Like if they made Star Wars in that style of anime, I would absolutely I would go outside and take a shit in my front yard, just hoping the neighbors would see me, just in my frustration. Just how dare you!
So
I mean, I just do that as a general thing anyway.
No, that's you asserting dominance
Yes.
over your neighborhood.
Absolutely. I am the alpha of my neighborhood. I have ascended to the peak.
They don't call you the yard dog for nothing.
Exactly.
So does it include like digital animation stuff, like CG kind of?
That's a great question. I think I've only seen 2 episodes of it
Because
so
Love,
far.
Death, and Robots does, correct?
Yes, a lot of.
But then also like
CGI.
2-dimensional art, or is it mostly 3-dimensional?
Most of it is 3-dimensional, but there is some 2-dimensional.
And
yeah.
it would take some looking into, but there are a lot of anime companies that actually will use real motion actors and have the art programmed into a computer code, so it'll just actually make itself happen as these people are fighting, and it's these 2 characters and the movements and stuff that they'll be able to carry out. And they actually have a room that can do this live.
It's really cool. It's
So,
like
I've
imagine
Some of
the
that kind of technology.
well, like the
So-
Snapchat filter. There's an anime Snapchat filter that's similar to that, like to where it puts you like looking like an anime person as you're moving around and stuff.
Those
It's really
never work for me.
It doesn't work for
Any of
beards.
them.
Well, beards, yeah, it doesn't work
Yeah.
for beards at all.
Or piercings.
No. I want to know: is there anything that's not anime that you would be interested in watching as one? Like, imagine like whatever. Like you mentioned, your thing is art style. Like, think of an art style maybe you would like to see. Is there? Would you like Lord of the Rings? Would you be interested if they made
Oh,
like
absolutely.
an
And
anime
they
of Lord of
actually
the
are
Rings?
making one.
An anime for
lo-
Lord of the Rings?
Oh, well, an animation. I don't know if it's like Japanese anime.
okay.
Right,
Gotcha.
right, yeah.
No, that'd be so incredible because Castlevania, in the style that they've done that, that's
See?
anime.
See, I
That's
like
a-
that. I
That's
like
a-
that.
That is
style.
a style of anime. I can't remember what it's exactly called because I'm not that deep
See,
into
exactly.
it.
And see, you know,
But I enjoy it.
I know that's not the topic, but I just felt the need to.
Now, if you ever wanted to
talk
find out
about
stuff
that.
like that, you could probably listen to Anime Talk.
Yeah, with Matt St. Jack.
Yeah.
Check out that
Absolutely.
podcast. Anytime we talk about anime, I want to shout him out because he's awesome. Tiny, is there? I kind of pictures for you just because I figured that would probably be, or maybe something that has to do with.
Malazan. A lot of people. And
Okay.
We're from Tennessee, so I say Malazan,
Right.
Because I'm an idiot. But Malazan, like a lot of its hardcore fans say that it would be really, really good as an anime.
If you look, I think the style that would
So
suit
of
it
course
the
I would
best,
watch that.
based on what you've told me about it, would suit the style of Alexander the Great. And if you've probably never seen that, that's a little obscure, but it used to be on Adult Swim on late night Cartoon Network, and it was real gritty, but almost like a Spawn style animation to it, but it was
Yeah.
an anime. It's pretty
Yeah, so
sweet.
that's the thing. Like, you know, I would watch it because it's one of my favorite IPs. But it, you know, I would want it to be art that I really liked.
What's yours, Tiny?
I'm not the hugest fan of animation.
We also say hugest in Tennessee.
Okay, I'm not the largest fan of animation, nor am I the smallest. I don't know, man. I mean, it would have to be something very just amazing for me to go, yeah, let's watch that animated instead of live action. Cool.
Nothing comes to mind. Then.
Yeah.
You just dislike it that
But not
much. that you
instead
can't
of live
imagine-
action.
Well, I
in
mean-
Yeah.
addition
In addition
to.
to.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like I'll give it a shot. I mean, I'll watch it because I do love Star Wars. It is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of animating things.
Right. That's fine.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I hate to be
Not even just regular
I hate to be the
animation.
downer.
So you're more of an anime hater than me?
Apparently, I mean, I don't look. Okay, I did watch an anime with someone, and we built some memories and had some bonding experiences, and it was okay.
So, do you just like anime because of that bonding experience?
No.
Okay, then what was the anime?
My Hero.
Academia.
That's a great
anime.
art style.
Yeah.
See, the reason that I think that a lot of stuff like Star Trek would be another one, because there's if you ever watch Gundam,
Oh man, Gundam's amazing.
if you watch the technology within Gundam and the giant mecha suits, like the original series of Gundam that came out in I believe the early '80s, it's real it's gritty, and it's just based off of just advanced space technology, but it's not something that's unimaginable at this point.
Well, Gundam.
Oh my hell!
There it is. That's good. I would see Spider-Man.
Spider-Man anime?
Yeah.
Don't they already
Well,
have one
then
of those?
I feel
watch
like there's
Japanese
something that
Spider-Man.
I feel like there's something that exists maybe like that, but I want to see like a whole series.
And Stargate.
Because the way he moves, Stargate?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
sure.
I'm just naming stuff.
Oh, sure.
Now,
Why not?
the Wolverine anime was awesome. The X-Men anime was awesome. I really loved the X-Men anime.
Yeah.
It was dark. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
was because you can do so much more in an anime style than you can in live action. So basically, you're getting a more believable effect because everything is that.
Right.
And oh man, there's other things. There's something I would want to see anime. A Day at the Vape Shop.
Oh no.
I just want to the characters that come in and how we have to interact.
I could see something like a Jay and Silent Bob style
Oh my gosh, that'd be incredible.
situation with that. Yeah.
Man, Kevin Smith, I know that you're out there somewhere, and if you ever hear this, I just want you to know that I think that Jay and Silent Bob would make a fantastic anime.
Well, they did do a cartoon
Cartoon.
series
They did.
of Jay and Silent Bob.
They did.
The Blunt Man and Chronic would be a fantastic thing to see in an anime style as well. I'm sure there's somebody out there that just love to do
Probably.
that.
Just for my own edification, can you actually define what anime is?
Japanese animated television.
Okay, so it doesn't apply to just all kinds of
No.
animated things.
No, like even like I think something can technically like Castlevania was made by an American, yes, like by an American company.
Yes, I believe so.
But I don't know if they've even like subcategorized it as like an American anime or what, because it's definitely unlike any other American cartoons like made.
Well, I will say I did watch a couple episodes of some anime that Matt Kaka was watching. It was a Japanese anime that somebody got rights to dub it or whatever, and so they didn't get a script. So instead of doing that, they just made up their own thing, and it was just like the craziest stuff.
Yes.
So there was a story happening, and they're just saying some wild stuff that may or may not pertain to what's happening.
That sounds like a fun
And
project.
it was actually pretty entertaining.
Is that the Ghost Club one where they're all in like this paranormal group together and they're investigating things?
Sounds kind of like that.
I think that I watched that, but I think that I might have had too many terpenes to recall.
But see, that's kind of how I feel every time I watch an anime. Is like it's hitting you with so much at all times. Like it's, I don't know.
See, I thought that would be right up your alley because of high fantasy.
Well, it is, but it's something about what you just said. I just can't remember exactly the word you put it in. One of you two.
All I know is I need one of you to teach me your ways, because there was a time that I wanted to like anime. I really tried. I sampled so many different ones, and I'm like, this is awful. This is bad. This is no good. That's fecal garbage. You know, it was just there were just I couldn't. But I wanted to so bad.
Well, maybe Star Wars Visions is your chance to like anime.
Maybe.
Because they're hitting you with 9 different styles, like 9 different stories. Maybe one of those styles, you're like, oh man, I like this. And you can see what else that company's
Well, I mean, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
That's what
For
it
you
was.
people.
I'm glad.
When you were talking about they made up their own overdub to it. That's what I feel like when I watch all animes. I feel like somebody has made up the story on top of what's happening on the screen.
I mean, oftentimes too, you find that like Star Wars is such a huge franchise that it's been made into everything.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you've
I mean,
got
why not by now?
You know, and the Star Wars animated movies have already happened in one style, so I think it'd be cool to watch after we're done with this to go and watch an episode of that together as the
cool.
as the grapes. You know, so we don't gotta. Angry Birds is a video game that also did a Star Wars rendition.
I remember that.
2 different volumes of that to be.
Oh, that was awesome.
As a matter of fact. But I got to thinking a little bit more about Angry Birds because it came in the arcade on the Apple Arcade. The gameplay on it was really smooth, and the backgrounds had a lot of depth to them. So even though it's still that same shot you're taking, just like you would on the original, it's not just a flat background you're going against. It's actually moving parts, and things are really pretty and sharp. And I have beat all of the levels on it now. I think there are over 150. So I've only been playing it for
Was it the Star Wars version?
No, I have not downloaded the Star Wars version again. I beat it and the second version of it a long time ago because I think it came out like in the mid between like 2010 and 2020, somewhere in there, that decade.
There's something fun about causing destruction in a planned manner, to where, just something about hitting sticks with balls and making things fall down is fun.
It really is.
I didn't know that there was an ending to that game because I tried the Angry Birds a long time ago. I made it some levels. I don't know how many levels. Then I got to the point where I'm like, I can't get past these pigs right here. And the only way that I can feasibly do it is if I pay some of my dollars. And I'm not paying any of my dollars to get past some pigs.
You only have 8, so.
You see,
I know.
Angry Birds is a Finnish, as in the country of... Okay.
Yes.
No, not... Okay. Just wanted to make sure. We are the grapevine, and we know what Finnish means here, but it's... Okay. Angry Birds...
Finland doesn't exist, and neither do birds. And...
Oh, no.
Yep.
Angry Birds is a Finnish action-based media franchise created by the Finnish company Rovio Entertainment. It focuses on these birds. These birds are loaded into a giant slingshot and hurled against structures that are made of different materials by their arch nemesis, the pigs, because the pigs have stolen the birds' eggs to eat them. And the birds just have to stop them. We gotta use the birds and chase them down and make sure that we it's like whack-a-mole, and it's like the joy of flicking boogers, and that's why it's like flicking boogers against a wall and knocking them down.
It is like flicking boogers.
Yeah,
Man, I love flicking boogers.
I mean, I remember you had an apartment that
This is a true gross story, by
that
the way.
at one point in time
I hate it already.
you flicked so many boogers into the light in the corner of the apartment
tall lamp.
that we thought that something was burning in the oven, and it was the light bulb getting so hot that it was burning a booger. That
It was a big booger.
to the top, and it was sizzling on top of the light bulb. Just
We called it the booger corner.
Smell bad?
yes, it
Oh,
did.
yeah, we
like
God.
like burning hair.
We
Why?
called it the burger corner, and it was a very tall lamp. Okay, it's a corner of the room. No one goes, so you
'Cause
just flick them in there.
Freaking boogers there.
Yeah, you don't have a booger corner?
No.
What do you do with your boogers?
Put it in a tissue like a normal human.
You just got tissues lying around everywhere.
I use whatever I can. I will use a piece of printer paper if I have to. I've done it.
That
It
is
sucks.
that is harmful for the environment.
Exactly.
Just
Is that
put
why
it.
you got paper cuts all over your nose?
Yes.
I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, man. You get that one that's got the tail that feels like it's up inside your brain. You got to get it out, and I am not flicking it because my dog will try to eat it, and that's
Oh, and you
No.
let her kiss you on the
Let her.
face too. So
no,
then
I
she would
don't.
have-
I do not let her lick me
Marcus,
on the face.
Have you? Is this
She just
booger
does
corner? Is this booger corner concept only within me and Austin and this small group of people?
No, it's
All
more
right,
of a under
that's
the
it. I'm
chair
done.
type thing.
No
Under
more
the
podcast for
chair.
me.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, Toddy.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
You're an under the chair guy.
yeah.
But
You
there's
know.
no satisfaction in the foot. Like if you've got a corner of the
sound.
room, the sound. If you can hear it go kick kick like off of both the corners of a wall, and it's like behind a dresser or something like that, you don't ever go back there. What's the point? You know.
I made a giant booger in my in my science class in high school. I was separated from the rest of the class, and so I was bored. And so I had to sit next to the teacher's desk, and between two of his books, I would just pile my boogers on there until I formed this giant booger ball. I mean, I'm talking about over weeks. This was a project. Oh my God. I don't remember what happened to it though. I'm pretty sure I threw it in the trash or something.
Okay, I was hoping I wouldn't be the grossest one in this conversation.
No.
And that wins it. Oh, that's so good.
Oh, yeah. I formed a giant booger.
It's so good. And Tiny's over here being
Okay,
responsible
I'm back.
with his boogers.
So are we still talking about boogers?
So
I just went and threw up.
let's get this. Let's let this sink in. The game came out in 2009. By 2014, it had over 2 billion downloads
I know 7 of those were from me because I always download it,
on every device you have.
play it for about 4 days straight, and then delete it off my phone forever until about a year and a half later, and I'll download it again.
And the thing that blew my mind is because I knew they made a lot of different versions of these games and like some bubble popping versions and some, some like here you can play as the pigs version and this and that. But I did not know they had publications, like printed media of Angry Birds, because that seems like, what's the point of flicking the booger if it's just you can't do nothing with it? It's just they give you the stories of what the individual birds are, and you can follow along with them. They also have cookbooks, Angry Birds, Bad Piggies, Egg Recipes, documentary books, Angry Birds, Hatching a Universe.
What?
Activity books, Angry Birds, The Big Green Doodle Book, The Big Red Doodle Book, The Big Sticker Space Book, and so on and so forth. They have storybooks, Angry Birds, Hunters of the Jade Egg, Bad Piggies, Piggy Island, Heroes, It's Raining Pigs, Bad Piggies.
It's raining pigs. Hallelujah, it's raining pigs.
And a movie.
Oh my God. That's the best of all of them.
We watched the Angry Birds movie thinking, okay, we'll give this, 20 minutes, turn it off, whatever. It's on. Let's just watch it. Watched the whole thing, enjoyed it. I think we watched it twice.
I've watched it more than that.
It's actually a funny cartoon movie. And it's why? It shouldn't be. It has no right to be.
It's got everybody in it that you want. The Mighty Eagle is played by Peter Dinklage. I mean, that's the guy that was in the...
I know who Peter Dinklage is.
He was...
How dare you,
point at me.
How dare you, mortal?
You don't know the deep magics.
How dare you, mortal? I am Electric
When it was
Man.
written.
I am Electric Man. Jason Sudeikis was in it. Josh Gad, Danny McBride. I mean, Sean Penn, Kegel, Mike and Key. Like, there's so many.
For no good reason.
Kegel, Mike, and Key? Who did you say?
Keegle's Mike and
Kegel's Michael Key. Yes, Keegan Michael Key.
You know what you got to do. Just go ahead and do it.
I said Keegan Michael Key.
No, you said Kegels. Yeah, Daddy.
Kegel
Yeah, Daddy.
is
See, puppy.
not it.
See, puppy.
Anyway,
You've been a bad boy.
my favorite character was just a random side character in that movie because he was just a bird that was he was a mime, and he wasn't a character in any of the games, so he wasn't a main character, but he was just always there, completely quiet until something awful would happen. Like they've built a giant slingshot that they can now launch themselves with and do destruction and get places, and he's like, everything that happens, he was always, oh my God.
Wait, he was a mom, but he spoke?
Yes, that's when he broke character. Every time he broke character was only to say that.
Look, I met a mom one time, and he was not happy with me because I tried to break him out of that box that he was trapped in with my axe. He was in an invisible box. I had an invisible axe. I tried to save his life. He was very upset.
Did it get an invincible splinter because of your actions?
I don't know, but he pointed at me and like yelled at me in mime.
All right, so I'm going to start reading through the Angry Birds, and I want you to let me know automatically. Just say...
Hold on. Can I have a question first?
Ah, shit.
Okay, because I remembered one. I remember when I finally figured out that each bird has its own specialty. That you can like flick him and then touch the button, and he like pew, or explodes or whatever.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
all
I
have
thought they
different-
were just fat birds to fling at boards.
No, they all have
No.
their own specialties.
Terrence is the big large one that's just he's just destructive, like you're throwing a wrecking ball at something. You've got
Some of them drop bombs, like actual egg bombs, don't they?
yeah,
That must be
Stella.
why I really sucked at this game, because I
Yeah.
just flung them.
No, the only one that doesn't have a second ability, unless you're playing Angry Birds 2, I believe, is Red. And Red just has, the ability just to have. He's just your normal bird.
He's the angry bird.
But doesn't he
He is.
dash? Doesn't he kind of like do a little dash?
No, that's the yellow bird that looks like a
So he's
triangle.
just a red
I can't
shirt.
remember
I
his
thought he
name.
was a boomerang.
Those are my favorite.
No, that's the toucan. Is the
See,
boomerang.
there's so many.
one of them
ding-dang
turns into three.
birds.
One of them turns into three
Yes,
birds.
that's the little tiny one that's used to break the ice ones. The little tiny.
I like that one. Yeah.
I kind of want to play Angry Birds now.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I
here we
hate
go.
it.
I'm going to start naming them, and you tell me if you've played them. Okay, it started in 2009. Angry Birds. Who's
Yes.
played them?
Well, yeah.
I don't remember which ones I've played.
The
Angry
original.
Birds Seasons.
No.
Anybody?
No.
Angry
No.
Birds Rio.
No.
Yes,
Okay.
I do remember that one.
Angry Birds Friends.
No.
Wait, Friends like the TV show?
No.
Friends? Oh.
Angry Birds Space.
No.
Angry Birds Star Wars.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Angry Birds Star Wars 2.
Maybe.
No.
Yes.
It was either one of those two.
Angry Birds Go.
No.
Angry Birds Transformers.
No.
What?
Yeah, I never knew that, but I'm gonna find that one. Gonna find it. Angry Birds 2. Yes,
No.
I've played
No.
that one. Angry Birds Blast. I
No.
think that was the bubble one. I never played it.
Sure.
Angry Birds Evolution.
No.
And the newest one is Angry Birds Reloaded, and
No.
that's the one that I played.
It's like it's based on the Matrix.
Yeah, but no.
Oh.
No. There were also spin-offs of it, as I said, like Bad Piggies and Angry Birds Stella and Angry Birds Pop and Champions and Pop Blast and Explorer.
How you gonna have
Played
like
none of them either.
How you gonna have like 30 versions of a game and then Angry Birds 2?
See, Angry Birds 2 basically just enhanced their powers a little bit more. And, it gave Red something. It gave him a furious, like his anger was so intense that he put out cosmic vibes that pushed people away. So
Sounds like Marcus.
so it like
Yeah.
so all his special power is if you were to
I
if
just
you,
got that.
like instead of throwing him and trying to make him bounce into something, you were trying to throw him at something, and where you would normally hit him, you would want to blast it with that psychic wave, and then you would hit it and provide like a double hit. So it was really cool.
It's like bowling,
Yeah, kind of.
but in the sky.
Yeah,
And with
on-
the animals.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to
And
pop
explosives.
balloons.
And explosives.
The exploding stuff on that game and watching it just demolish it all. That is, it's very entertaining, and you get to learning strategies and angles and this and that. It's geometry, guys. We're learning geometry and trigonometry just by flinging these birds at things.
And honestly,
Look at
some
the
of those
math.
levels, like there's probably only a couple ways to beat them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you have to get specific.
I spent 45 minutes. Now, think about this, guys. 45 minutes on a single level on these last Angry Birds levels that I was playing. Like, one level took me 45 minutes because it was difficult, and I was frustrated, but I was so close to, like, finishing them all that I got through it, and it took an exact combination of the only birds they gave you
Yep.
to be able to get through this level.
Right.
And I still haven't maxed out the stars on it, so I'm going to have to
that
go through it
kinda
all
makes
again.
it even more fun.
Like Dark
So
Souls.
they're very good
Yep.
at what they do.
Like living in the age of phone games and seeing what all that IP can become is insane because it's brilliant. Like the chances of it becoming more than something like a PS5 game or an Xbox game or a PC game or whatever. Everyone has a freaking cell phone. Children have cell phones. Like these games are free, but then you start making your money off of, well, microtransactions, which are, hot garbage for the most part. But the T-shirts and books and movies, TV shows, like everything, because you made a successful interaction on a cell phone.
And now you've got movie stars voicing your characters.
Yeah, like the way that because we could, spend some time learning how to create or to make like games, to code games. Like you can take online courses to learn how to do a simple game, like Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird was so simple. You just touch the screen, the little bird pops up, and you try to move through the gaps. Like,
It's like the
Yep.
digital equivalent of ball in a cup.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Angry Birds. Spend some time. It is a freemium game. So keep that in mind when you download it because it is very fun. But, you can play for free as long as you want to just grind it out. But if you want to get advanced a little bit quicker, you can probably pay for some buffs.
Boo.
Boo. Boo.
So, I have never seen this movie called Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer or Hunter. Right? But
Okay.
I just thought it would be it's such a fun idea to because these historical figures are already kind of mythologized, but to do it even more to them. So I just want to know what other historical figures should also have sci-fi / fantasy
The
adventure
same
ROMs.
author also did Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Yes. Okay. See, that
Just
makes
throwing
sense.
that in there.
But right, because it kind of became like a little genre.
Yeah.
Like classic
I believe
fiction,
it was
but with
Max
zombies
Brooks.
or something.
Wasn't it that wrote it?
Who?
Wrote it? Max Brooks?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I had it. I
just
read
want
it.
to
I read the
know
book.
because I just feel like there could be some really funny combinations. But that's why I need y'all's help.
So we need famous historians, or not historians, but people of history.
Yes, famous historical figures.
Yeah.
But they also have this secret life of magic or space travel or time travel.
Or demonic possession by the sin of gluttony, like Taft.
Yeah.
Taft.
Or
Yeah.
Sir Isaac Newton, but he has syphilis.
Okay, but
Is-
that's not
is
a
that where
snappy
we're at?
title.
Yeah.
That's not a snappy title. I need snappy titles.
Oh, that was a snappy title.
Do it again.
Taft, sin of greed.
There you go.
No, Taft, sin of gluttony.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more.
So Taft was the fattest American president, and he was actually so fat that at one time he got stuck in his iron claw tub. Like the large
At the White House.
At the White House, and they had to get the fire department and get him out of the tub.
That's fantastic. Now, I wonder what that tub could also represent in his reimagining.
He's actually the demonic possessed person that was Taft, and the sin of gluttony has taken him over. So now he is, controlling the United States as the sin of gluttony, and he just consumes and consumes and consumes until eventually he is, trapped by his family, who has figured out, what's going on with him, and they've been suffering through it for all these years until they finally get this bathtub blessed by the Vatican, and when he gets into the bathtub. And it's filled with holy water.
So it was an assassination attempt?
So it was an
Yes.
assassination attempt, but what ended
Or
up,
banishment attempt.
Yes. So it ended up actually adhering him to the tub, and it
He
would have
became
been
a turtle man.
It would have been all like off of the movie Seven, where the person is all like busted out and like attached to the chair and everything else like that. Except it's a bathtub.
What's in the
I love
box?
it. I love it. What's another one?
Okay, mine is based on a true story. Eisenhower and his adventures with the aliens.
Oh, you stole mine, but go ahead.
Yeah, I did. So, you would see him and his buddy, possibly Thud from Skinwalker Ranch. They would just be cruising the stars, man. Like he sneaks out, like he tells his family, hey, I'm going to the dentist. But really, he's hanging with his buddy Thud. And they're just cruising the stars, seeing some sights. He's getting some cool alien tech. Like he comes back and he's got these futuristic robot eyes, and he records stuff with them, and he can play back, and he can stick a jack in his eyeball and broadcast his memories and his thoughts and everything he's seen onto a computer. I don't know.
That's amazing. But okay, hold on. So is it like a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure kind of romp?
Kind of,
through the
but
through the
it's
stars?
kind of, but not super comedic. It's incidentally comedic, like the first Sharknado movie. It's so bad, but it actually becomes kind of funny in its own thing.
Like Hitchhiker's Guide, but not funny. Is that what you want?
Are we talking about the books or the movie?
We're not. The movie doesn't exist in
Thank
the
you.
Grapevine universe, just for you, especially.
Thank
the
you.
book, the amazing book. It's like if that weren't
Those
humorous,
books are very amazing.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
pretty
it
much.
weren't a comedy,
Yeah, pretty
then
much.
it would be this. It would be the
Yeah.
serious travels of Who was it? Eisenhower?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
instead of like on the Hitchhiker's Guide where it always says "Don't panic," it would say
Right.
"Panic," but just a little.
See, I think I want to see Ben Franklin with a story like this, because that man's already got enough like myth behind his
Right.
legend. Because I think the key in the lightning situation, I would like to imagine that is Zeus communicating with Benjamin Franklin in that moment, and from the moment the key like strikes lightning and it connects with him, he has this entire like life journey with Zeus, like on Olympus, and all of this. That Zeus was on Olympus, yeah. That
Yes,
was Zeus.
you're
Okay,
correct.
thanks.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get my mythologies mixed up.
Yes.
But by the time he finishes these trials with Zeus, he ends up falling short, just short. You know, it's his own hubris that ends up making him not be able to obtain these powers. And then he comes to, and he's still standing there with the kite and the key. So in the strike of lightning, this entire lifetime and all these trials happened elsewhere, and then he comes to, and he's still standing there, and he just has to go on
with the kite or whatever.
with the kite, and the knowledge of knowing he could have been that like a god unto men, but he ended up just being a man.
Barely missing it.
Barely missing it. Yeah, I like the idea of the tragedy behind it, but also him being successful in his own ways.
Yeah, there has been a reimagining of Ben Franklin. Steve Zaragoza and Lee Newton, they're two YouTubers who used to be on the SourceFed channels.
Okay.
They did Benjamin Franklin Time Traveler.
Nice.
They traveled through time.
See these snappy
via
titles. That's what I'm looking for
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't always come that quick, but I get it.
There
But
was
yeah,
a-
I'd be interested to see that. What is it called again?
Look, it's just straight comedy. There's no
That's
substance
fine.
to it. It's called Ben Franklin Time Traveler. He uses a keytar to travel through time.
See, mine.
He's like, jump on my sweaty back. And then, he plays the keytar and they go through time and do some stuff.
Mine would be Ben Franklin, the lost key to Olympus.
Yes.
Yeah. You like that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
We didn't ever name yours, Tony.
Oh.
With Eisenhower, which you stole, thanks. by the way.
Eisenhower.
So now I don't have
and
one to
Thud's
contribute.
Excellent
To my own
Adventure.
topic.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you gave us the rest of it.
And I just talked right over your topic.
Yeah,
or
me
your
too.
title.
Dang, we had a whole
Yeah.
conversation.
Eisenhower and Thud's Excellent Adventure. I
Okay,
don't know.
because Eisenhower was reportedly, I mean, this is from UFOlogy, so, take it with a grain of salt, but he was supposedly, like, missing from the White House and, like, supposedly got abducted or something like that. So that's where I was
You
going to
need
go
to
with
hear
mine,
the
too.
interview with his granddaughter about that. It's fantastic.
I like the idea of the Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter, because it was a fun read. It was really interesting, and for some reason it got to a point in that book to where there was a good, like, probably 3 or 4 chapters where it just felt like it was doing the same thing over and over again. Like, I think it was like the hunting, like, things, like it was just kind of like, you did all this time building up this really interesting character and all this cool, like, this weird mythology kind of thing, and then it got a little boring for a while, and then it kind of ended. But I like the idea of just making these crazy, weird stories out of people that, they had parts of their lives we don't know about.
Right.
And it's just fun to come up with just ways of what they
Sci-fi
did.
and
during
fantasy
time.
adventures.
Now, exactly.
Have you watched the movie? Has anybody watched the movie?
I
haven't,
haven't. Who cares?
no.
I'm just kidding.
Movies-
I'm just kidding.
If you've read the book, the movie's awful. If you haven't read the book, you'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah, I haven't read the book. I thought the movie is very entertaining. I mean,
I'm sure it was.
If you watch it,
I was
you know-
actually surprised to see that Daniel Day-Lewis was in it. Or is
Huh?
that just a glitch in Google?
glitch in Google.
Wait, Daniel Day-Lewis played Lincoln in
When I clicked,
Lincoln.
well, he didn't play Abraham Lincoln in
Didn't he?
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
No, not in that. But
He
was
did
he
in
just in
Lincoln.
it? Yeah, in Lincoln he was
Lincoln,
Lincoln.
he did, yes.
He did a great job,
That's
too.
gotta
Yeah,
be a glitch.
it was good.
I just
Was
love
he-
the silver shortage explanation thing, where they shipped
Oh,
out all
yeah.
the nation's silver.
Uh-huh.
Like,
That was really cool.
I was like,
See, that's what
yeah.
I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for.
See, the part of that movie that bothered me the most, they gave Abraham Lincoln super strength. In the book, he didn't have that. Henry, for some reason, couldn't harm his own kind. In the book, Henry was a vampire hunter. He killed vampires. He trained Abraham Lincoln to hunt vampires as well because they killed his family. And in the movie, they're like, you're another one of Henry's boys. So in the movie, Henry was training up all these people to hunt vampires. But some reason, Abraham Lincoln, he had super strength and could chop down a tree with one blow, and he had an axe that was a gun in the back, which, come on, blow my brains out. It's dumb.
With an axe.
With an axe.
I say a very similar phrase to that a lot of times, and it's nothing like that, actually, now that I think about it. It's a different object in a different orifice. But it's another good one would be Andrew Jackson, Spirit Detective.
Oh, perfect.
Because an actual story from southern, who told you, well, who done it, but Andrew Jackson actually visited the Bell Witch farm, and it was during a ride that he was taking from one place to another within Tennessee, and he stopped at the Adams farm to try to help and solve the Bell Witch case.
Cool.
Nice.
That would be fun.
Ooh.
Are you just trying to get ideas out of us for us to make a whole new
no.
a whole new thing at some point?
I mean, if that turns out to be, sure, then that's great.
Because we can take these and make it
this
into
is
something.
just I don't know. I was just thinking about what I would talk about, and I was like, I never saw that movie Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, but I really want to take other historical figures and put them in sci-fi and fantasy, because why not? It's actually one of the things I always loved about some of the X-Men stories, is because they kind of tried to weave themselves around actual history. But gosh, I was trying to think of one, like Hillary Clinton, Shaman of the Void, or something. Like,
That's what Bill would tell you too, and he would say it in a very quiet tone, just so she didn't hear you. No, don't make her pull it out now, please.
You have you ever watched Doctor Who? Have you ever tried watching Doctor Who?
I literally, I think, I mean, there's so many iterations. I don't know which iteration I tried to watch, but I did
Right.
start to watch like the first episode of one or another one.
Okay, but-
a long time ago, and never kind of kept going. Yeah.
There's a
the
lot of
Eccleston is
run-ins with historical figures and things like this, of them going on these adventures with the Doctor through space and time and doing all this weird stuff. So I think you really
remember
like
when I
all
got
those.
into GURPS a lot?
Yeah.
They had this book of like all these historical, like Nikola Tesla and like all these people you could think of, like so many rulers that you learn about in history, but it's got their GURP stats. It's like, so this is how you play them in a GURPS adventure. I was
GURPS
like, that would
is-
be an interesting thing to play, like play out, like role play actual history and try to change it.
Oh yeah.
I've got another one.
Please.
Joseph Smith and the Werewolf. Now, earlier I said Skinwalker Ranch. I meant Stardust Ranch when I was talking about Eisenhower. Sorry.
I think Skinwalker is like the UFO one, though.
No,
right?
no. Skinwalker Ranch is werewolves. And I've made the joke for a long time that Mormons are werewolves. Rooster has backed me up that this is a thing.
Yes, he has.
So
the
this
Rooster
would
is
be
confirmed.
the Rooster story.
That gives it credibility.
Yeah. And Joseph Smith wrote the Book of Mormon, for people who don't know that. And it would be about him moving out to wherever he lived. And Utah, yeah. And coming across Skinwalker Ranch, and there's werewolves. He gets bit, and then, he writes the Book of Mormon. He forms, the Church of Latter-day Saints. He gets more Mormons together. He gives them the curse. Now they're all werewolves.
And then he develops the werewolf proofing for himself to cure himself, and it's underwear. A special
underwear.
It tames the beast inside of you.
Yeah.
You must prevent yourself from ever experiencing these feelings.
Yeah. And
Wear
if
the undergarments.
and if you're out there listening and you are a Mormon, I still love you too. This is all in fun.
And we're jealous that
you can
we're
make
not
fun of us back.
Well, yeah, make fun of us back, please.
Well, actually, I did hear a story one time from a tattoo artist friend of mine that there was a Mormon female that had came in to get a tattoo, and she was wearing her undergarments that are the special undergarments, but with a thong over them. And
okay.
How come?
I said the exact same thing, and he said, I couldn't ask.
Well,
I just
so you can be pure but still sexy.
To tame the beast within.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
makes sense.
the beast within is tamed, but doesn't mean you can't decorate the outside.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Exactly.
Can we get one more in there?
Oh, please.
You think we can?
Yeah, what do you got in mind?
Title of
I
your
don't know.
sex tape.
I'm trying to think of one. I mean, I did Hillary Clinton, Shaman of the Void.
Right.
'Cause I wanted her to be an actual hero in her story. Despite some of the more ugly stories that
For sure.
go around about her
Do
sometimes.
you think Ron Jeremy could be a
Historical figure?
Some kind of Oh, of course he is.
Yeah.
He's a legend in the industry. I don't know, a troll.
That's not.
I think he's a troll.
That's not far fetched.
like one from
that
a fairy
ended
tale.
up- yeah,
that,
I think
is
he
under
ended
a
up
bridge.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the bridge troll ended up here on accident somehow. But I would like to see how because Ron Jeremy didn't grow up as a child; he just was, and I think he showed up from this other realm.
He did. He crossed over.
Yeah.
It should be crossing over Ron Jeremy.
This is just his afterlife. What if this is just Ron Jeremy's
This is his
afterlife?
purgatory.
And let's not forget about his giant, massive hernia. You see it very well in his cover of Wrecking Ball.
Oh my God! So what's the title of that one?
The bridge to Terabithia,
Oh my gosh.
the britches troll. No, like a bridge troll, but britches. Nah, that's a stretch. That's not funny.
A dick in time.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Next.
Well, see, a lot of times we get trapped up in talking about time, and we don't always talk about space. And so my topic has changed through the course of time and space from what it was going to be originally. Because originally I said my topic was a topic of past and future, but now my topic is simply a topic of future. And that future is Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Was that backwards?
No.
That was forwards.
Yeah, y'all have no idea what that is, but that's Star Trek,
It's a
The
real.
Next Generation. One of the greatest shows of our lifetime with Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Were you speaking in?
It's from an episode.
Oh, okay. What's the language people can speak from that? Klingon.
Klingon.
Is a language, right?
Well,
Like,
there's
people
actually
make it?
2 full languages in Star Wars. One of them is Klingon.
Star Wars.
I'm sorry,
Trek.
Star Trek.
Oh,
Wow.
Tiny, smack something.
You committed the mortal sin
Yeah.
of nerddom.
Ow, that really hurt. I deserved every minute of it.
Vader.
Okay, my eyes are crossed.
Vader means
So-
his father, and it's funny.
There's 2 languages fleshed out completely in Star Trek, Tiny. Star Trek. Star Trek.
We lost all credibility.
One of which is Klingon. They've actually, you can actually buy Hamlet translated into Klingon.
Why?
It's fantastic. Why would you not? I've actually watched all of Hamlet in Klingon on YouTube. It's pretty fantastic.
Wait, the Mel Gibson movie?
No. No. And the other language was spoken by
English.
the Talarians. And it was a language comprised of a few phrases. Pretty much the entire episode, Captain Jean-Luc Picard is stranded on this planet with this Talarian, and he's trying to communicate, and one of the first things the Talarian says to him is Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra, and you're like, what? And he's like, I'm Captain Jean-Luc Picard, da, 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 da. And he's like, he just repeats these same phrases over and over again. Darmok and Jalad on the ocean, Timba, his arms wide, and it was the first contact with that alien race. And so they're sitting there, and it's a very hostile environment, and they're trying to survive. And the Temerian is trying to make this connection with, with these other people so that they can, learn from each other. And they're sitting there at night, and they end up telling each other stories because the Temerian language is built around a story. And so he's telling them the story, and through listening, he kind of starts to get a grasp of the language. And in doing so, he actually becomes part of the language, because by the time the episode ends, he became part of the language and the cultural exchange, and he was able to actually bring them not necessarily into the Federation, but almost become like a translator and teach people how to communicate with them, because they communicated through a story, which was very fascinating. And one of my other favorite episodes, he's transported into, there's a satellite that comes, and he's all of a sudden in a completely different life. He lives from where he was at to a very old man, lives this entire lifetime in the space of like an hour where he's unconscious on the deck. And when he comes back, he remembers his experiences, and it makes him almost there's a massive amount of character development because of that. It's a very fascinating show. If you've not seen The Next Generation, I suggest you watch all of them. Every single, well, I wouldn't say every single one's gold, but a lot of them are gold. Marcus, you raised your hand.
How did we get from him being a part of the language to another life? I got lost.
I don't
in
know.
that story.
I was talking.
different episode.
It was a different episode.
Okay.
I was just talking about a couple of my favorite episodes.
I want to know about that, like how he became a part of the language because of him visiting their planet.
Well, it wasn't their planet. They were sitting there having this communication. They had to do something to survive. I don't remember exactly what it was. And so he formed a bond with this other entity, and they almost became friends, and they kind of developed an understanding of each other through telling each other stories and their survival aspect.
From the way I understand it, this race's language changes throughout time as the story of their race continues.
Yes.
So Picard was now part of the story of that race because he helped this other one survive.
Exactly.
So from this point on in future, he is part of their language because he is part of their story.
Right.
Yes.
That's
there's a word for,
really
like, him.
cool. Yeah.
And for all of you kids that don't know who Captain Jean-Luc Picard is, it is going to be played by Sir Patrick Stewart. And if you don't know who Sir Patrick Stewart is, if you don't know who Charles Xavier is from the X-Men movies, you might recognize him as the voice of in Ted, that was the narrator. So you might have seen Ted, except for an Apache helicopter.
Yes. The phrase that became part of their language was Picard and Dathon at Eladrel. So that phrase was their entire story of being there.
Right.
And so that phrase being used in different inflections and in different manners could mean different things within their language.
Right.
That's a really cool concept.
Yeah, it was very cool.
That's really neat. Star Trek has always seemed like the kind of show to me where there's like some things that like that. They're like, man, this is fascinating. Like, this is awesome. And then a lot of like, that was fine.
Yeah.
And then
I
something
mean,
that really stands out. And then a lot of like, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about The Next Generation, as opposed to the original Star Trek, is there's a continuating story. It's not just episodic. So some things that don't really mean much early on come back. Like the first instance of Q, which I believe is in like the very first episode or two. I hated Q, because Q was part of what's called the Q Continuum. He's basically this cosmic godlike being, and he just appears on the ship in a Starfleet uniform, and he just messes with them, just doing just crazy stuff, like he freezes them in time, and just does everything. And you're like, what is this guy? Why is he here? He's kind of annoying. And then the next season he comes back again, and you're like, oh god, here he is again. But it's completely different the next time. And by the third or fourth time you see him, you're like, man, I love Q episodes, because you kind of get why he's there. He foments chaos, and he helps progress the story.
It reminds me of Mr. Mxyzptlk from
Mxyzptlk?
Mxyzptlk. Yeah, from Superman. He's like a I don't know. It's this. He's a villain, kind of.
Well, he's actually just
He's not
more.
really.
He's more or less a prankster.
Yeah, a cosmic prankster
with limitless power, and he's a trickster, and he just manipulates and does whatever he wants to, wherever he wants to, with no repercussions, because nobody can stop him.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
mean,
just-
that is pretty much Q.
right. That's why it reminded me of him.
there's a few little differences though. Q reports to what's called the Q continuum. That's basically like a council of Qs because they're all called Q. And in one Q episode, he's actually like he detests like mortal stuff. He's like, oh God, why do we have to fly? This is so slow. I could just materialize wherever I want. As punishment for doing something, he's sent back as a normal human. So he loses all of his Q-ness, and he's stuck on the Enterprise with Captain Picard, and Picard's like, oh God, because Picard can't stand him either. It's very good. There's a lot
Maybe
more.
I
to
do
it,
need to
you know.
watch this series because I've only seen
it's awesome.
some episodes of it.
Yeah.
Interesting nostalgia fact about the Next Generation. If you play the theme song for me, I will be asleep before the theme song ends. And it is not because it is a very soothing track at all. It is very exciting. It is very fanfare. It's very bright. But at 10 o'clock, after WCW Nitro would go off on TNT, immediately following that, at 10 o'clock, mind you, in the mid-90s, I was still in the single digits of age, so I should have been asleep. Then I would, have my TV volume down really low because I'm supposed to be asleep.
Sneaking it.
I'm sneaking in the last little bit of Nitro here, making sure that, and then I'd lay down and finally be getting to sleep, and then. And I just knew, okay, everything's over with now. It's all over. I can just stop paying attention.
My dad used to watch all the Next Generation. He was a big Next Generation fan.
The Orville. Are you familiar?
Yes, that's pretty good
It's
too.
great. Like I thought it was going to be dumb fart
Yeah.
humor like this podcast, and it ended up actually being like a really good, thoughtful, like almost Star Trek clone.
Yeah,
kind
it
of.
is very Star Trek-like. There is some really stupid humor in it.
Oh,
too,
yeah,
which
absolutely.
is nice.
I mean, it's Seth MacFarlane, so it's gonna be there.
It's not like Family Guy over the top,
Right.
So I thought it was just gonna be like straight up just comedy, just
No.
BS. And it's a show with actually some meat on its bones.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
Like it shows that Seth MacFarlane cares about it.
Yeah.
Like he really does care about that project. Like, and it is not just the fart, fight chicken humor.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's good.
didn't know that.
The Borg episodes, though, were
yeah.
always
Man.
very hard for me to sleep through because they were creepy as a kid.
Yeah,
The
dude,
Borgs.
Borgs, yeah, they're just weird.
What is it? Resistance is futile.
Yeah, you will be assimilated. I love the Klingon episodes. Worf is one of my absolute favorite characters in the series.
Also, one of my favorite sounds a
I
dog
had
makes.
a little dog when I was young named Worf.
Is that what you told you his name was?
No.
What do you want to be
I
called,
named
boy?
him Worf.
What do you want to be called, boy?
Oh
Worf.
Well, I mean, like the Klingon has a very metal type, history and culture.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Marcus, you'd be probably right on board with that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all like war and fighting and pain and blood and honor and Worf
I mean,
is actually
that's nothing like me. I just like the music.
well, okay, whatever.
Well, as much as I would like to cling on to this episode, we're going to have to let it go. Thank you for joining us this week on Nerd It Through the Grapevine. As you listen to us probably on Spotify or iTunes or Pandora or Podcatcher, any of those, thank you for doing that. Hop on over to iTunes if you can and give us a 5-star rating and possibly a little comment letting people know what you think of the show and what we're about, because it makes us feel real good. And while you're at it over there on iTunes and Spotify, hop on over to Homicide Worldwide. It's a podcast to where their 39th episode, I believe. Tiny had offered up a suggestion for a topic for them, and they went with it, and it is fantastic. So give them a listen too. They're
Way
awesome.
to steal my shout out.
Were you gonna do?
I
No,
was totally gonna
I
do
know
it.
you were gonna do it.
I was gonna do it
I'm
because they did the
sorry.
show for me. I'm still gonna do it.
Do it again.
I will.
Well, you could always do that, whenever you get on Twitter and look up at Nerd Grapevine, because it'll be the same thing as our Facebook and the same thing as our Instagram, at Nerd Grapevine. You can also get onto our Patreon if you wanted to donate a little bit to the cause, as my father would say. It's at Best Friends period, Tiny Ink period. And if you donate a little bit, you get a holographic sticker from Nerd It Through the Grapevine that Dane has created. And you can unlock some future content that nobody else is going to get to listen to, or maybe get to hear some firsties that nobody has got to listen to yet, if you're interested.
Coming soon.
Where's my setup?
I'm not setting anything up for you because you always just smack it down, and it causes me a lot of...
No, it amuses me so much. So hop on over to Discord. On our Discord page, which there's a link in the description of our episode, we have a channel that is topic suggestions, just like Homicide Worldwide. They took one of my suggestions and made the newest episode, Issei Sagawa. They did a fantastic job. They're honestly rapidly becoming one of my favorite true crime podcasts. And I'm not just saying that because they shouted me out and did the episode for me. Even though that's great, and I loved every minute of it. It really made my day. You ladies did awesome. So hop on over to Discord. Become part of the Backyard Bonanza and the family. Mm-hmm. Suck it, Dane. Stealing my shout-out.
I'm sorry. Get over it. When life gives you grapes, Austin.
You take the grapes that the vine has provided. You eat them with much thankfulness in your heart. Then you feel overwhelmed. Your body is tingling. Your feet, they grow. Your legs, they're longer. They're more muscular. Your whole body is growing. You're purple. What's going on? You are now Grapevine superhero.
Grimace?
The butt plug. Everybody, it's just a bunch of nerd stuff and farts. I love it.